Hi guys, happy holidays! Today we're going to be making Gingerbread Trifle, a holiday twist on a Hogwarts favorite. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is make our gingerbread cake for our gingerbread trifle. We're going to be starting with our dry ingredients. In a small bowl, I have 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. To that, we're going to be adding 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda, half a teaspoon of salt, and now our spices. 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, and the star of the show, 1 teaspoon of ground ginger. Now whisk that until fully combined. Okay, I set the dry ingredients off to the side, and now in a large mixing bowl, cream 1 stick, half a cup of unsalted butter, slightly softened until creamy. You can do this with a mixer, it's way better, but when you're out in the wilderness, you might have to use a spoon. Okay, I just scraped down the sides of the bowl with a rubber spatula, and now we're going to be adding in 3/4 of a cup of molasses and a half a cup of granulated sugar. And now we're going to beat this until it's well combined and fluffy. It's finished and it looks wonderful. And now I have 2 eggs over here, and we're going to be adding one at a time and mixing 30 seconds after each addition. So let's start. Okay, now we're going to add in 3/4 of a cup of buttermilk and mix that in. Now we're going to be adding half of our dry ingredients, and we're going to mix it in. Then add the other half of our dry ingredients and mix it in. And make sure not to overbeat. Okay, our batter's finished, and I just wanted to show you how I prepared my pan. You'll be needing a 2-inch high pan for this, a 2-inch high, 9-inch round cake pan. But I don't have one of those, so I improvised with a thing called a parchment ring. It's just a strip of parchment paper, a couple inches high, and we just put that in there. But I sprayed the pan with some nonstick cooking spray. I put a little circle of parchment paper in the bottom, and then I put up this and I sprayed it again. And now it's ready for our batter, and we're going to pour our batter in, smooth it out. Now we're going to bake this at 350 for 45 to 50 minutes, or until a toothpick comes out the center clean. Okay, it's time to cut our cake. It's cooled for a while, so it's nice and cool for us to cut. I'm just going to take a knife that has a serrated edge, and we're going to cut this into quarters. And now we're going to cut them each in half. And now we're going to take those pieces and flip them onto their side and cut them into thirds. Okay, now we did that to all of our pieces, and now we're going to be taking about 1.5 inches off the end of all the pieces. Now it's time to assemble our trifle. Here we have our cut up gingerbread, the tips we took off, and right here is 24 ounces of frozen raspberries that I thawed and drained. Then I tossed them with 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar. Over here we have 4 cups of vanilla pudding. I just used packaged mix to make them. You can also make them purely from scratch. And now it's time to stack and layer. Okay, here we have all of our cut up cake, and over here we have a glass bowl which we'll be presenting our trifle in. It is 5 inches deep and 8 inches wide. Now what I'm doing is layering a layer of gingerbread in the bottom, and for the center you want to put some of those tips you cut off just to fill in any spaces and nooks and crannies. Just like that. Put a few more in there. Now we're going to be adding in a half a cup of this raspberry mixture. We want it slightly heaping. Wow, those geese are busy this time of year. And just take an offset spatula and spread that out. You can also use a spoon, whatever you have. Now we just spread that all out, and now we're going to be adding a cup of our pudding. Now we're going to put this in the fridge for 3 hours for the flavors to meld and for it to get nice and set up. Okay, we've let this chill for 3 hours. And now we're going to top it right before serving with whipped cream. Now what I did to make the whipped cream is I did 1 cup of chilled heavy cream and 2 teaspoons of powdered sugar, and I whipped that until soft peaks formed. And I just dyed it with a little bit of green gel food coloring, and then we're just going to dollop that on the top. I'm just garnishing with a little bit of those raspberries we had earlier. Right in the center. I kind of did 7 raspberries for the $7, so please don't make fun of me for being very geeky. And there you go. Our gingerbread trifle is finished now. I hope you guys enjoyed watching my video, and Happy Christmas!